Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Gotham episode 3 video. It was called The Last Laugh. Obviously all about the Joker, so just careful for spoilers as we get into it because there's a lot of big stuff that happened in this episode. I'm going to explain that last big twist first because Bruno Heller, the showrunner, was kind of explaining how they're treating the Joker character, like what was going on when they ended the episode. Jerome is dead. What does that mean about the legacy of the Joker on Gotham, at least on the TV show? He said they're trying to honor the legacy of the Joker in the comics, so it's not really just like any one specific event, like someone getting dumped in a vat of chemicals, that gives rise to this really iconic character. And Jerome and the Maniac's actions inspire something of like a cult of personality, so more and more people are inspired to act like this, so eventually the Joker will rise out of this group of people. Not any of those specific individuals that they showed at the end of the episode, like it's not like they're trying to tease like one of these people will actually become the Joker, just that people all over the city saw this and it inspired them in a really bad way. So the seeds are just being laid for the actual Joker. It's the same thing with Black Mask and Richard Sionis. Until Roman Sionis comes along, no actual Black Mask. But I thought they did a really great job with the metaphor that they were trying to prove, and there were some great comic book moments in the episode. So let's just dig into it a little bit. Top 5 WTF moments. Number 5, Gordon is on the warpath. So I love the way they opened with the guy flying out the window. Then he told the other guy to spread the word, threw him out the window too. This is the kind of energy you're going to see from Michael Chiklis whenever he shows up next week. He's going to be the new captain. Remember, Essen was promoted, but they technically didn't name a new police chief. Then she died, so there's still like this vacuum to be filled. I feel like this is really good setup for a Gordon arc, just because Ben McKenzie does a lot better when he's busting heads than when he's trying to tell jokes or be funny. It just works better if he gets to be the serious character and everyone else gets to be ridiculous. Gordon himself, from the comics, the movies, all the different portrayals, or at least the best portrayals, has a sense of humor, but he is never the actual funny person in any given scene. It's usually somebody else that tells the jokes, and he's the one that reacts to them. So definitely big thumbs up for Hardcore Gordon. Speaking of badasses, on to number 4. Alfred is a total badass, former Royal Marine who is also still something of a ladies' man. Remember, he's a butler, not a monk, so I wouldn't be too surprised if Sean Pertwee at some point got a little play on the show. I was a little curious how long they were going to let that whole thing with Leslie go on. Like, clearly she's just like, okay, I'm not sure what to do here. This, older man is hitting on me. He seems very charming, but I don't want to be mean. Even the last moment they had together where they're getting ready to walk off and Gordon just stares at him like, did you just hit on my girlfriend? What? I don't know what to do with that. Alfred kind of takes it back a little bit when he's walking away with Bruce. Like, I can't believe you let me go on like that. So like that it's not going to continue to be a thing. It was funny in this one episode. If they would have continued to do that, it would have gotten really creepy. But Leslie Thompkins and Bruce, we got to talk about that. So number 3, Leslie Thompkins finally meets Bruce Wayne. Now, they changed a little bit from the comics here just because of the legacy of Leslie Thompkins' clinic, Park Row, and the transition to Crime Alley in the place where Bruce's parents originally died in the comics. So if you watch Batman the Animated Series, you're probably pretty familiar with the Leslie Thompkins character. That's actually like very, very true to the original Bruce Wayne Leslie Thompkins story in the comics. She owned a place on Park Row, this really nice street in Gotham. Then slowly over time, things in the city got so bad that they started calling Park Row Crime Alley. Park Row turned into Crime Alley, but she still lived there. So that's where her clinic was. It's in Crime Alley. That's near where Bruce Wayne's parents ended up getting killed. So in the animated series where, you see him laying down roses with Leslie Thompkins and being really sad, that's near where her clinic is. She got a lot of the story that they're giving to Gordon now. Like, Gordon is kind of like this surrogate father to Bruce Wayne, like this authority figure. In the comics, that was Leslie Thompkins. He was kind of like a mother figure to him. But the TV show just, changing a few minor things about the backstory. Most of her history in the comics is her working with underprivileged children, providing them with medical care. So they might have her working more with the children's hospital on the show. They didn't really have much of a scene in this episode, but it could be fun to see them again. So if they want to have more Bruce Leslie scenes, they would do it in that context. On to number 2, Theo and Jerome put on a show for the city. They kind of buried the lead a little bit, but this was all about Theo positioning himself as a savior of the city, using Jerome to do that. Mostly they were just putting this forward as Jerome just terrorizing people. So if you were really surprised when Theo stepped out on camera and like he actually turned to camera and said, "My name is Theo Galavan, we're not going to stand for this." That's why. It's because they wanted that to be a surprise. Jerome and Barbara were fun, if not a little bit silly, but you can understand why they kind of brushed over a lot of that. Like, they didn't want you to take it too seriously because of the twist ending. I like the way they're setting up James Frain's character though. He is actually getting some great character development. He's a billionaire. We don't know where his money came from. We just know that his family built Gotham, or was one of the families to build Gotham, which gets into Court of Owls territory. When he talked about their name being etched on every bridge, like every building in the city, that's actually a literal thing in the Court of Owls. Traces of the court are actually etched in all the biggest foundations of Gotham, all over the city, going all the way back to the person that started the Wayne dynasty. So obviously the Waynes just being one family that was part of the Court of Owls, there are going to be a lot of other big, rich families. So Theo could be from any of those. They could make him anybody they want. It seems like he's an original creation of the show right now, although Tigress is not. Tigress is straight out of the comics, as is Barbara Keene, although they haven't really dealt with the history of Barbara's family. Technically, if she's super rich, then her family would have ties to the Court of Owls too. That doesn't really seem like it's the direction they're taking Barbara. She seems like she's really just like freeing the crazy. But of course, on my number one WTF moment, Theo kills Jerome to prove to the city on camera that he is a savior. Sorry bro, this was not part of the plan. And if there was any doubt, they show him on the slab there in the coroner's office with a smile on his face. So very clearly, Jerome is not the Joker that we know from the comics. But his actions on live camera inspire people all over the city to just free the crazy, just like Barbara's doing right now. And like I said, I don't think we're going to see the actual Joker anytime soon. That's why they showed you like a little kid laughing, a really old man laughing at a bar, a bunch of random criminals on the street laughing. They wanted it to be really ambiguous. There's actually this really awesome Shakespeare quote from one of his plays called The Christmas Prince from way back in the 1600s. Laugh on, my friend. He laugheth best that laugheth to the end. That's where that saying, having the last laugh, comes from. It's all about temporary victories, like, you may be laughing now, but I'll be laughing last. Like, the person that gets the last laugh is actually the one that wins. So the title of the episode was called The Last Laugh. Jerome kind of got the last laugh. He's inspiring a city full of Joker-type people to rise up, despite the fact that he was betrayed by Theo. Speaking of which, I wanted to add that little bit about Barbara's betrayal with Theo against Tabitha, against Tigress. She seems like she's trying to create some chaos between the two of them, so she'll have her own angle in all this, which I actually kind of like. It would be nice to see her get her own arc. So let me know, what was your favorite moment from the episode, and what do you think about the way they treated the Jerome Joker character? Do you like the vague way that they're treating his legacy? And what do you think about like some of the other storylines? Like they peppered the Penguin in there, but it felt like it was just tacked on. He really didn't need to be in this episode at all, but I think they were just setting him up for next week, because next week's a big Penguin episode. There was also that really sentimental moment with Bruce and Selina. Hey, I miss you. I miss us going around having fun, jumping around rooftops. That'll probably happen again this season. She's working with the Penguin right now. Catwoman is one of the few truly neutral characters. She can do good things, she can help Bruce at the same time that she works for the Penguin, who's going to be more of a lawful evil character. But I feel like Gotham has actually done a really great job this season so far of enhancing their sense of style, their sense of narrative progression and complexity. It's a lot more fun to follow along. Speaking of which, don't forget, The Flash actually comes back tomorrow. Arrow comes back on Wednesday. And I'm looking for a new Thursday show. There are a couple animated shows that I'm trying to pick out. I'm just really sad that Legend of Korra isn't on anymore. Book 4 just started airing in October last year. So I'm looking at like Steven Universe or Adventure Time, just a new cartoon animated series to do videos for. I miss having fun. It was a lot of fun doing animated series. So if you have any requests or any suggestions, just leave them in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. And I've got a couple other bonus videos that I'm working on. I'll try to get that out between now and Wednesday. Like we just have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I have a Game of Thrones bonus video. So I'll try to finish all those videos as fast as possible. Just in case you guys didn't see it, I posted a Flash Episode 1 trailer video this morning. You can click here to watch that. It's got all kinds of Firestorm and Rogues, all kinds of awesome stuff. And you can click here to watch all my Gotham videos if you haven't caught up yet. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody, let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.